It's your boy Lights back with another video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, my people. And today we're looking at Dyer responds to Tommy Robinson exposing Keir Starmer from jail.
Prison sentences. I wrote a letter to my wife, and it was a detailing letter. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. This is a letter to your wife from prison. What did you say?
To make sure they understood why I do what I do. And it's me believing that the worst will come.
That you will die in jail.
The worst will come, and I want my children to know that I haven't,
Back to this whole Brexit thing, when you know, you're judging them on Brexit, they don't know nothing about it. Who knows about Brexit?
Yeah, quite.
No one's got a fucking clue what Brexit is, yeah? You watch Question Time, it's comedy.
Were you no clearer when Jeremy Corbyn
No,
explained
I got
Labour's
the clue.
policy?
No one knows what it is. It's like this mad riddle that no one knows what it is, right? So what's happened to that twat David Cameron who called it on? Let's be fair.
Oh.
I think you're referring to our former Prime Minister.
Yeah, but how comes he can scuttle off? He called all this on.
Yeah.
Yeah?
He has no regrets.
Where is he? He's in Europe, in Nice, with his trotters up, yeah? Where is the geezer? I think he should be held accountable for it. He should be held accountable for it.
It's a valid point. A lot of people do feel
Twats.
that all politicians...
Dyer has never been one to bite his tongue. He says what he thinks, no matter the consequences, and right now, he's livid. Tommy Robinson's arrest isn't just another news story to him. It hits deeper. It's about power, control, and the fear of speaking out. Let's be real. How many public figures have the nerve to say what he's saying?
by a communist, tyrannical government who do not care about freedom. Everything this country was built on. In the Magna Carta, has been abolished and trampled all over by Keir Starmer. Okay? The two-tier policing, the judiciary. The world is watching right now. This is the most important moment in any of our battles. I've been doing this for 15 years. It's led us here. The path has led us here to the 26th of October. Beyond the 26th of October, I'll be in jail by the 28th, 29th. Yeah? Maybe I'll be in jail before, but my film will be ready. Okay? The demonstration will be planned. Music will be planned. Security will be planned. A spectacle will already be planned and put in place. So whatever thoughts they have, it's going ahead. I will be there, right? Through hook or by crook, I'll be there. Now,
most celebrities stay silent, afraid of stirring the pot. But Dyer isn't holding back. He's openly questioning why Robinson was jailed and why those in charge seem so desperate to keep him quiet. He's not tiptoeing around the issue, he's calling it out directly. To him, there's something bigger and more dangerous at play, and he's making sure people don't ignore it.
Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, has been charged under the Terrorism Act.
He hugged support.
I didn't know that was his name, you know. Tommy Robinson. Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Why does he call himself Tommy Robinson? Who knows? Probably to keep his identity incognito, but they just hotted him up.
Yaxley Lennon has been charged under the Terrorism Act.
He hugged supporters waiting outside for him, telling them he was there for telling the truth. Now, one of them asked what'll happen next, and he said, "I'll see what happens, mate. I don't expect to come back out."
It's a bit backwards in the UK though. They scream freedom of speech, but it's not really freedom of speech. If you're saying something against the government, they'll lock you up for it. And here's proof of that. You can say what you want about Tommy Robinson. You might like him, you might not like him, you might support him, you may not. But he was just speaking his truth and he got locked up for it, right? So yeah. What do you lot think?
Here.
It's not often you see someone from mainstream entertainment take this kind of stand. But Dyer isn't just another actor sounding off. He sees injustice and refuses to look the other way. He knows the backlash is coming and he knows the media will twist his words. But does that bother him? Not in the slightest. To him, staying silent is no different from being complicit.
I'm 25, but I'm entering my third month of solitary confinement within Wood Hill Prison.
And they've got him up in solitary as well, which is different to being locked up in jail or prison. It's solitary is lock off. You've got no access to other inmates. Your food gets delivered to your door. You're not let out of your cell. You're just stuck in there with the bare minimum. You won't even have a mattress. You won't even have a telly in there. You'll just be 4 balls a little flat where they can bring your food, and that's about it, man. It's terrible in there. Solitary confinement's no joke. We call it the block. The block is no joke.
After 42 days, I had to go to the...
After 3 months in a block will wear a man down, you know. I can't lie. When I was in YOI, we basically only had a threshold. Basically, they said you can stay there for 30 days without you have to be reviewed and let out of there, right? Unless special circumstances and you're causing a lot of problems, or you assault a staff member or something like that happens during that time of solitary. That's the only exception, right? But apart from that, it was 30 days maximum you was allowed in there. Any longer, you're playing with yourself, do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, any longer than that was inhumane, basically.
They had to go to the government after 42 days of isolation. So whose decision is it? Because I know people get frustrated with the prison. It's not the prison. All decisions to do with me and nothing to do with the jail. They're coming from the government. That was I had to give a written response to my opinion on my isolation. After 42 days, it was going to the government for them to continue doing it. So I wrote my written response, which said this doesn't have to happen. When I come in here, I sat down with a psychiatrist and I said to her, "What's 9 months of solitary confinement going to do to me?" She said,
9 months. This guy's worded the caption so wrong.
"It's going to be devastating for your mental health." So I said, "So why are they doing it?" And 2 weeks ago, this week, I sat down. Every 2 weeks, I have a meeting with the governors, and the mental health team are there. Psychiatrists are there, mental health, probation, independent monitoring board. They're all there every 2 weeks because I have to have it because I'm on solitary confinement. And this week, I said, I'm going to say this because I feel different. I'm telling you, I know how I feel. I feel different. I know I'm only 2 months in. So why am I still being held in solitary confinement?
Locked away for 23 hours a day. No human contact, no fresh air, no real sense of time. That's the reality Tommy Robinson is facing. This isn't just a typical prison sentence, it's something far more severe.
The UK has become something of a joke, you know what I'm saying? They're not letting people speak what they want to speak. Not from the UK anyway. They're letting other people come in the country and speak whatever they want to speak, and then still screaming freedom of speech. This is above us, man. This is a bigger agenda. This is deeper than just freedom of speech. This is them trying to break down and mash up everything that we've come to know as England. They're trying to destroy us. They want World War III, you know?
Yeah. Solitary confinement isn't just about punishment. It's designed to break people, to wear them down mentally, to make them feel like they don't exist. And right now, that's exactly what's happening to him.
Those that are spreading lies and misinformation as far and as wide as possible, they're not interested.
I don't like this guy one bit, you know. He's a fraggle. Look at him.
In victims. They're interested in themselves. Those who are cheerleading Tommy Robinson, not interested in justice. They're supporting.
This country's become a joke. They'll put a prime minister in charge. That prime minister will mash everything up, put in some mad regulations, do some mad things to the country, and then they'll just kick him out, change the prime minister, change the party, and say, "Oh, it was my man. That wasn't our fault." And then they'll come and do something completely more fucked up. Oh, get rid of them, on to the next. It's a joke thing. Like, no one's being held accountable. All these prime ministers and their parties and whoever's behind them are just doing the most, bro. You're just doing the most. Soon he'll be out, everyone will blame him for being a bastard, and then there'll be a next guy doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just mad. Parliament, government need to just be teared down, man. We need something different, man. It's not this.
Supporting a man who went to prison for nearly collapsing a grooming case, a gang grooming case. These are people who are trying to get some kind of vicarious thrill from street violence that people like Tommy Robinson promote. And those attacking Jess Phillips, who I'm proud to call a colleague and a friend, not protecting victims. Jess Phillips has done 1,000 times more than they've even dreamt about when it comes to protecting victims of sexual.
I've been thinking about a credit card from Think Money.
Entire career. And so just as I took on the criminal justice system and the institutions when I was chief prosecutor, I'm prepared to call out this for what it is. We've seen this playbook many times, whipping up of intimidation and threats of violence.
For most prisoners, even those convicted of serious crimes, this kind of treatment is uncommon. But for Robinson, it's his reality. No phone calls, no visits from his ex-wife, just the same four walls closing in on him day after day. This level of isolation is usually reserved for the most dangerous criminals, yet here it is, used on a man who dared to speak his mind. And he knows exactly why. He said it before, he believes the government isn't just trying to lock him up, they want him erased. Because Tommy Robinson isn't just another inmate, he's a symbol of defiance, a symbol of speaking out, no matter the cost. And to those in power, that makes him a threat.
But when the poison of the far right leads to serious threats to Jess Phillips and others, then in my book, a line has been crossed. But I enjoy the cut and thrust of politics.
So he's basically saying it's all good for you to go beat each other up and kill each other, but when you're bringing it to my people, them big problems. That's what he's saying. So there's no equal rights. It's, if you're messing with us lot, we're coming down on you. We're gonna mash you up. But if it's just some little girl in the street getting done by a grooming gang, that's no problem. We don't mind that as long as it's not on our doorstep, as long as it's not our people, our family, our lot. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm getting from that.
The robust debate that we must have, but that's got to be based on facts and truth, not on lies, not on those who are so desperate for attention that they're prepared to debase themselves and their country. So this government will get on with the job of
the country's a mess. Stop going on like you're doing something great, bro. You just give 5 billion away, bro. Like, what are you talking about, man? There's guys homeless on the street. Like, there's old people that are not getting heat, not getting hot water and heat in their house during this cold season and stuff. Like, there's a lot going on, bro. Like, you're going on, like, there's people that need help in our own country, man. Look at the churches, they're run down. Look at the schools, they're run down, broken down. There's a lot going on in our country. You to just stand there with your tie on like you're doing something great. The NHS has collapsed. You can't get a doctor. You can't get a dentist. Like, it takes you months to even get seen by a dentist. And then when you're going to see the dentist, you're getting flooded away. You're getting pushed away. Come on, man. Make it make sense. Stop going on like you're doing something great, bro. You're a mug.
protecting victims, including child sexual abuse, mandatory reporting, accelerating the processes. But what I won't tolerate is this discussion and debate based on lies without calling it out.
So the real question is, why? If he's just a fringe figure causing trouble, why go to such extremes? Why isolate him like this? Why treat him as if he's a national security risk? The answer is obvious. They're afraid. Afraid of what he knows. Afraid of what he says. Afraid of what he represents. And they'll stop at nothing to silence him.
Or the Times newspaper, sharing their article, look what we wrote in 2019 about Islamic prison gangs. Now, Gerard Batten made me his advisor on prison because I had spoke very vocally since 2013 when I come out of Wood Hill Prison, a maximum security jail which houses some of the worst terrorists in our country, and I saw how they controlled the entire prison. He was battered down for having me as an advisor. Someone who had been to 10 UK jails, okay, had seen firsthand, had spoke to staff in every one of these prisons to understand the recruitment, how they recruit, how they act, all of these things. Beaten down. I made a video in 2017 showing that Islamic terrorists and jihadists are being housed next to British primary schools.
Even the most hardened criminals.
Big up Britain Unfiltered, but you keep messing up the captions, my bro. They're not right.
Are allowed phone calls. They get to see their families, hear familiar voices, and hold on to some sense of connection. But Robinson? Nothing. No contact, no updates, just silence. And that's exactly the point. They don't want him reaching anyone. They don't want him speaking about what's happening inside those prison walls. They want him erased, and they're doing everything they can to make it happen.
In that video, I made a point of saying, you can have him under surveillance. If he wants to get a knife and kill kids, he can. This latest terrorist was under surveillance. They were following him with guns. He still got to stab 2 people. Why has he been released? Why? Why has he been released? Do you know there's 800 other live investigations now? I saw Piers Morgan talking about how much does it cost. Well, hello, mate. We've been banging our heads against a wall about that. For the last decade, 32 people to monitor one jihadi. We've got 3,000 being monitored every day. That's a cost of £9 billion a year.
This isn't just about punishment, it's about control. If he can't communicate, he can't push back. He can't tell his side of the story. He can't expose what's being done to him. And with every passing day, they're hoping the world stops asking questions. But here's the thing, people aren't forgetting. In fact, these extreme measures are only fueling more outrage. The harder they try to silence him, the louder the demands for his release become. And the longer this continues, the bigger the question looms. What are they so desperate to keep hidden? Because Tommy Robinson isn't just another inmate. His imprisonment feels like a message, and at the heart of it all is Keir Starmer. The accusations are mounting. Many believe Keir Starmer is ensuring Tommy Robinson remains behind bars, silenced and out of the public eye. Why? Because Robinson has never shied away from speaking uncomfortable truths the government would rather keep hidden. He's exposed corruption, called out the establishment and built a massive following in the process. That kind of influence is a threat to those in power. And right now, no one holds more power than the Prime Minister himself.
Who are thinking about the 26th of October. Maybe you're worried, maybe you're scared. Maybe you think you might lose your job, maybe you think you might get put in prison. We will organise this properly like we did the last ones. You've seen what happens at our events. You've seen the celebration. Let's send a message to the world, to Keir Starmer especially, that the fight is not gone, okay? Not in us anyway. I am travelling back to the UK for literally the fight of my life. I'm fully aware of that. They may throw me to the dogs in prison. I will have to fight for my survival. So men right now are fighting for their lives in prison, who have been falsely imprisoned, unlawfully imprisoned, pressured and forced and blackmailed to plead guilty to crimes they haven't committed.
Starmer isn't just a bystander. He's being accused of orchestrating the harshest possible conditions for Robinson. Solitary confinement, no phone calls, no visits. Every tool available to strip him of his voice. And people are paying attention. This is no longer just about Robinson. It's about what happens when someone challenges the government. Is this about justice or is it about control?
£9 billion, all gone about the NHS and money. Get rid of these jihadis. Get them off our street. Why are we waiting for them to kill and murder us continually? There's 800 live terror investigations now. 16 Islamic terrorist attacks have been stopped since 2017. You know what they've done? You have censored and got rid of all the people that talk about it. Our biggest concern has been about all the hate. You've just deleted Katie Hopkins for what? For a few truthful tweets about Stormzy, who's a homophobic bigot anyway, who actually promotes real racism against white people. And you've deleted her.
Starmer's silence speaks volumes. If Robinson were truly insignificant, why take such extreme measures to keep him locked away? The harsher the punishment, the more it looks like fear. Fear of what he knows, fear of what he could reveal. Locking Robinson up hasn't silenced him, but if anything, it's amplified his voice. Outside those prison walls...
It has, because people will start taking note more now. People that didn't even know about Tommy Robinson will start listening now. So, yeah, it's definitely made them bigger. When he gets out of this, he'll be... Who knows, man? Who knows what's going to happen, but yeah.
Millions still stand with him. They're not backing down. They're demanding answers. They're demanding his release.
The far-right activist Tommy Robinson has been jailed for 18 months for contempt of court after admitting to repeating false allegations about a Syrian refugee. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, continued to repeat the claims even after he was successfully sued for libel in 2021, including in a film which has been viewed millions of times. Handing down the sentence, the judge said Robinson's actions suggested he...
Where can I watch this film that he's done?
Law.
This isn't some fringe movement, it's a wave of support that crosses backgrounds and beliefs. People see what's happening and they're outraged. They see a man being isolated, stripped of his rights and treated like a dangerous criminal for speaking out. And that only fuels the anger. Starmer knows this. He knows Robinson's influence hasn't faded in confinement. If anything, it's grown. And that presents a real problem for the government. When millions of people feel ignored, when they believe their voices no longer matter, The anger doesn't fade, it builds. The real question is, how long can they contain it? How long can they pretend this isn't a political firestorm waiting to erupt? Because the harder they try to silence Tommy Robinson, the louder his supporters become, and at some point, they won't be ignored. Keir Starmer may think this will pass, that people will move on, forget and accept Robinson's imprisonment as just another political decision. But that's not how this works. People are outraged, and they're not letting this go. For many, Robinson's case isn't just about him. It represents something far bigger. It's about a government that punishes those who dare to speak out. It's about a justice system being weaponized to silence opposition. And the man seen as orchestrating it all? Starmer. This outrage isn't confined to social media. It's spreading into real conversations, protests, and a deepening distrust of the government. People feel betrayed. They see a Prime Minister who refuses to acknowledge what's happening, who seems indifferent to the fact that a man is being cut off, isolated and silenced.
Don Keith here at Downing Street. I want you all to just take notice of the people who have shown up for Tommy Robinson today. Locked in solitary confinement, a political prisoner, a man the government does not want you to hear from. They're trying to keep him silent as much as possible. But it doesn't matter that Tommy's locked up because his message continues on. And even more so now because the tyranny of the British government can be seen through what they're doing to Tommy Robinson. Psychological torture, he's not eating well, unable to see certain visitors if they have social media platforms.
Just makes the UK government look weak still.
Visitors are selected by the prison who he can and cannot see. All forms of psychological torture that they're putting Tommy Robinson through today. But I want you to look at the people who turned out to see Tommy Robinson today.
Who once believed in Starmer? That belief is gone. His time as Prime Minister is unravelling. Approval ratings are crashing. People aren't just frustrated, they're fed up. The country is in turmoil.
I've been your boy Lights with another video. If you like these kind of videos, make sure you let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more. Peace and love every time.